Good morning, everyone. My name is Dariana Barrera. I am the president of the Concord Chamber of Commerce. I first want to welcome you all for being here today to the 250th information session. Thank you all for making the time. First, I would like to introduce Maynard Forbes, and he is going to kick off this meeting.
Good morning, all. I understand the British are coming, and that's why we're here. There may be a few more thousand people than just the British that are coming, so we're trying to be prepared and let you know what is going on. Uh, we have at least Gary Clayton someplace. There he is, one of the co-chairs of the Concord 250th, and several members of subcommittees that are in attendance. If those of you who are members would stand up so that the rest of you can see who you want to ask questions of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lots of people. Good. Thank you. The first speaker this morning is Captain Brian Goldman from the Concord Police Department, who has a lot of information about what's going to happen in the town on the morning of the 19th of April. It'll probably be more confused than it was on 19th of April in 1775. But we're trying to get organized. Brian.
Good morning, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I have been with the police department here for 32 years, and I can effectively say this is probably the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. So, having said that, we have been in the planning phase for this for about approximately 2 years now, and working with our partners at the state and federal level, as well as working with the Massachusetts Emergency Management System. A little more? Can everybody hear me? Okay. I'm terrible with microphones. I'll be the first to say that. The whole goal of this is to make this a safe, a secure, and a happy event for the town, for the businesses, for the residents, and make sure it's something that everyone enjoys and has a good time at. With that, with the planning, we also want to make sure that people, vehicles, equipment move safely. I know a lot of you we've spoken to before. You've heard about the road closures. I know you have a ton of questions, and we can get to that at the end, and I want to do my best to answer all of those. But I want to make sure that everybody understands that we're here for you, and we will work our best to make sure you get what you need, you can operate effectively, and we can pretty much work through anything unless the parade is going right by your house. So with that, let me just run down a quick series of events. On April 18th, there is going to be a ceremony at 7 o'clock at the Armory. That is going to be a Medal of Honor recipient ceremony. About 100 people are expected to be there. That is actually part of the Tough Rock. They have organized that this year as part of the 250th celebration for the state, for the area. The Tough Rock will be going off on Sunday morning as it normally would before the parade, except this year the parade is on Saturday versus Monday. The Tough Rock, as most of you know, is part of the Boston Athletic Association's marathon event. It's a qualifier for the marathon, so we thought it was important to try and accommodate them as best we could, stretching our resources a little bit, but all is good. Most of the time, it's not a big deal when it goes off. At 6 a.m. on Saturday will be the dawn salute. The parade is expected to step off at 8:30 a.m. There will be a ceremony at the Old North Bridge at around 9:30. There's a planned military flyover at 10 a.m. We expect the parade to end possibly around 1 o'clock, but we're really not sure at this time. It might stretch on longer. 2 p.m., Monument Square is going to remain closed, as will all the road closures in town, for a series of events, festivities, booths, vendors, a lot to still be decided at this point. We're still in the planning stages with that. And then somewhere around 7:45, 8 o'clock that night, there'll be a drone show. That is what's planned in Monument Square. As I mentioned before, Sunday, 7 a.m., Tough Rock. I don't think the community will feel too big an impact of that, other than maybe some stops to let the ruckers cross the streets and stuff. This is a map of the parade. The parade is expected to go either 3.5 or 3.6 miles long. There's a change to the parade this year. The parade is going to start on Thoreau Street. It's going to go down Sudbury Road. It's going to go from Sudbury Road into Main Street. It's going to go the opposite lane of traffic through Monument Square out to Lowell Road to Liberty Street. It's either going to go into the park or it's going to go around the park. It's going to be weather dependent. It will come back down Monument Street, into the square, past the reviewing stand in front of the townhouse. It will go onto Lexington Road, take a right on the Haywood, and it will disassemble somewhere in the Stowe Street, Emerson Field, Thoreau Street area. I say it partly that way because some of the staging is going to be at the high school, and some of the staging is going to be where it normally is at the Alcott. In terms of the road closures are going to start at 6 p.m. Friday night. Residents, public safety, and buses will be able to get through. We are currently working on a credentialing plan that will be pushed out to the residents to make sure they're not inconvenienced. Those that will be on the traffic posts, and mainly those on the outer posts along Route 2, will work with residents, businesses, if people need to get in. I highly recommend people make sure at least they have their identification. What we don't want to have happen for this parade is people come in and start squatting in different areas, and we end up with a lot of traffic that we don't want, and people creating the congestion that we saw back from the reports in 1975. We like to think we've learned on lessons from 1975 in that we don't want that gridlock. And everyone I've talked to that was here, the news reports, the historical information all suggests there was a lot of gridlock there. We're trying to prevent that. We're trying to make it more efficient, more effective. We anticipate the parade and opening up the roads by 11 o'clock Saturday night. That all depends on how fast we can get some stuff moved to the side, clean up, that sort of thing. Typically, it takes us about half an hour in normal years, given the size and the scope and everything that's going on with this parade. We have a buffer built in for a couple hours for that. The MBTA is partnered up with us. My friends over here, Polly and Diane and Laurie, have all been working very hard with us on that. And there is a graphic design out there that will be on the trains. MBTA has increased the train service to what they call a special event schedule that day. And what that means is they're going to run cars more frequently. And those cars will hold about 1,400 to 1,600 people, and that is in addition to the regular train schedule that's going to run, which will hold about another 400 to 600. We want people to take public transportation. That is going to be the easiest method for people to get in and out of town. We don't, as everyone knows, have the parking available in Concord to be able to put, say, 10,000 cars or 10,000 people. We're looking at options, but it's really going to be weather dependent, and we don't want to have to rely on those. That is also going to be coupled with what's called a intra-community transportation route, and that's part of the intermunicipal group that's been working very hard with all the communities. So there will be bus service that will run between Concord and Lexington, Lexington and Concord, with 2 stops out on Battle Road on Route 2A. One stop will be at the Hartwell Tavern parking lot, and the other stop will be at the Minuteman National Park Visitor Center. The whole theory behind that is we can move people around a little more effectively, and if people want to come here from Lexington to see our events, they can. If they want to come from Concord to Lexington to see their events, they can. And if they come in by train, they can get back to the train. There's going to be increased bus service, though it's not finalized yet, into Lexington and into Hanscom. So there's options for people. So I go back to take public transportation. Concord transportation is going to start to run about 6 o'clock that morning. We've got about 19 sites here in town where we have allotted for parking. 3 of those sites are allotted for what we're calling town employees, accessibility, VIPs. 747 Main Street, we just secured the other day. Crosby's and the courthouse. We have a transportation plan in place that's going to provide the ability to get people from those sites if they so choose. If somebody wants to walk from Crosby's to their business on Thoreau Street, that's fine. If they want to take a shuttle bus in, We'll have a shuttle bus. We have golf carts, we have UTVs, we have ATVs, we have a little bit of everything. So we will be able to get people where they need to go that have to work or are part of the parade. The other locations we've identified are Virginia Road. There will be parking, spectator parking up there. Concord Transportation has partnered up with us. They will provide transportation from that site. Baker Ave, MCI Concord, there are also some other sites. Middlesex School has come forward and offered to let us use their grounds to park people. Carlisle has 2 spots. They are actually going to provide their own bus transportation to come in. And I'm forgetting somebody. Lincoln Station and Lincoln, and Vero Farm. Vero Farm may be weather dependent. That's another one. We looked at another site, School Street over in Acton with the playing fields over there. But if the site is if the fields are too wet, it's not viable. And it might be a last minute thing if we can figure something out. We can run transportation route out there, but that's still kind of up in the air. This is a map of the road closures. As you can see, everything in yellow is what we call soft closures. Everything in red is the hard closures. I think everyone is pretty much used to all the hard closures we do around the parade every year. We are increasing that to make sure every road that abuts the parade route is also closed off. That's for safety reasons. What we don't want is somebody to come out and try and all of a sudden realize, hey, they have to get to, a birthday party or another event somewhere, and all of a sudden they're sitting there trying to get out in the middle of the parade. That's not going to work. And we will have people in place at these road closures to assist. There will be a point in time where if somebody comes up on the parade and they need to get out, we should be able to facilitate it with a strong emphasis on the word should. It all depends on where the parade is at. It all depends on the timing. And this is just a list of all the parking lots with a big emphasis on the 3. We want to make sure the business employees can get to where they need to be. We want the businesses to open. One other thing I failed to mention before, if there's deliveries that need to get in, we just need to plan accordingly. You need to coordinate with us with public safety. Let us know what you're thinking, what you need, when you think it'll be there. There might be a time when we have to say no, we can't do it at that time, but we might be able to also facilitate it. The whole point is if we know it's coming, we can assist you. We can work with you with a little bit of luck. It's a quick rundown of the afternoon events starting at 2 o'clock. There is going to be a memorial celebration at 2 o'clock, and then from 2 to 6 p.m. will be a series of activities in the Monument Square area, capped off, as I mentioned earlier, with a drone show at around 7:45-ish, right around dusk. A tentative map, I should say, of what this is going to look like. So if you think of the Christmas parade that we have every year and how we block off Monument Square, something along those lines. Just no Santa. And then what's currently being developed and being pushed out, I think as all of you know, with the help of Diane, Paulie, and Laurie, is the public service message plan, the communications plan. And they've been meeting with us and they've been taking all that information and compiling it and getting it out to you folk as well as the general public. There's a big part of this that's going to fall into credentialing. There's going to be a big part of this that's going to fall into getting the messages out to all the residents to make sure everybody understands what's going on. And at a point in time, if there's questions, those questions can come back to us because we want to get this out there well in advance. And it's already started, as I think a lot of you know. Last thing I just want to mention, I have 2 of my officers here with me. Officer Steve Hawkins, if you'd stand up, please. And Officer Addie Wood. They're going to be points of contact. Steve will be the lead on this. His information is up there if anyone wants to take a picture of it. The best thing I recommend is if you have any questions, you should send him an email, give him a phone call. He and Addie will work together. They will either work with you and coordinate with me, or they might be able to just deal with it and walk you through it themselves. Before I get to that, I had to ask, I'm sorry. With that, all right, the big moment. You've all been waiting for this, questions. I'm going to let Beth organize the mic.
Testing.
Okay.
Great. David Owen from Concord Scout House. I didn't see any plans for bicycles, for being able to store lock-up bikes or routes for bicycles in the town. We know this is a mecca for, and that could help alleviate some of the traffic.
So with the bicycles, we have a plan on putting bike racks, bike stations that people can lock their bikes up out behind Vanderhoof on Main Street. We're going to put racks down there. As far as controlling which way and where they can go, this is a big open event, so it's not feasible to sit there and say, okay, you can only go this way or you can only go that way. I will mention there's not going to be any bikes allowed on the trains. That's been confirmed by the MBTA. In the back.
Hi, excuse me. Oh, hello. Jen Schuneman, local resident involved in a bunch of stuff. But my question, can you address, if something goes wrong, what should people know? Like if there's an incident at the bridge or something, is there a plan for people to just be aware of in case of something untoward happening?
If something were to happen, depending on the severity and the significance of it, we have resources in place, we have resources staged. There are going to be a lot of our partners around. You will not see them. They are going to be in the shadows and in the backdrop, and they will be able to move in if needed. And while nothing is ever going to be perfect, the plan is to minimize whatever happens, control it, and put it to an end. And if it unfortunately means canceling the parade at some point or calling off the parade, we have the ability to do that.
Hi, Leslie Palola, Fiorella's Concord. Just wondering, how are we going to get customers into businesses that are open Friday night until 9 o'clock at night?
The plan with the road closures is that we start to shut the roads down. It's not so much to impede the local residents, but it's more to gain control of the roads so we can deal with anybody that decides to come in with their camper or their car or their tent and just start sitting somewhere so we can identify those and move those out. As far as the downtown businesses go, typically, I think if somebody were to come in, say from out of town and said they had a reservation at your restaurant, we can probably accommodate that. We just need to put the messages out to the road closures for that. And it's a good point. We really haven't taken that into account yet. We've been a little more focused on other things.
That's about 100 people on Friday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, we can start to work through that and figure out a plan for that. It might be if might be advertising out that night for a certain way to come through, and certain places to park. I don't think that'll be a problem, but we have to coordinate that with the food services and things we've been talking about on that front.
I brought this forward yesterday, and Mimi brought it to Pam. So this is kind of new to Brian, and it's on his radar, and we will make sure we reach out to the businesses and have an answer for you. We just don't have one right today. It's a very valid point, brought up at our food business meeting on Tuesday, and I think it's something we're going to continue to work through. Try to be short, not wait too long for those answers so you can make some decisions. Thanks.
And just to back that up a little bit, that's one of those points. Now that we know about it, we can start to plan through it. That's a big help. This is stuff we're looking for. This is the stuff we're looking to hear.
We want that feedback. That's really helpful.
So what I will say is that, A, this is being recorded. There is an FAQ that is in draft format that will get finalized after today's meeting. So everything that you hear today, don't worry about writing it down. It will come out to everybody. If you did not RSVP, and that's okay, we're welcome to everybody. If your name is not on our list for distribution, make sure that Pam at the chamber table has it before you leave so that you will get a copy of today's presentation.
I just had a question about the credentialing. I've already learned, I'm Jan Turnquist from Orchard House, and I've learned that there are people coming from, not many, one family, they've been active with us in many places, and they also are originally from Japan, but they live here now. And they live in New York, so they're driving, they're staying in Waltham. And I'm thinking for people like that, especially, I want to make sure I get them credentialed, because I hate for them to drive from New York for the parade and then be told they can't get into town.
So touch base with Officer Hawkins, and we'll put that on the to-do list. That shouldn't be an issue. We just have to coordinate it, that's all.
Hi there, Marie Foley from Revolutionary Concord. I've got the store in the basement, and part of my concern is for my store, and perhaps others have the issue, is security in my store. I can, even the Christmas parade I need to close because there are too many people. Can I call Officer Hawkins to see if there's a private security firm I can hire, or
So what we've talked about right along is the way we've set this up compared to the Christmas parade, normal Patriots Days, we've shrunk the coverage areas for the offices that are going to be assigned to the downtown area. I'm not going to ever discourage you from calling someone, and I'm not going to encourage it. But I think what you'll find on the day is that there will be a lot of presence downtown. Now, I was talking with, he's here somewhere, I believe, Dave Anderson, and we were talking a little bit about 1975 and what his dad saw and how busy it got and just the amount of people. That's really going to be your call in terms of, closing off the doors or limiting people coming in. But I think if you need assistance, I think it's going to be, I don't want to say an arm's length away, but maybe a couple arm's lengths away. And we can help assist with that and, move people around. That's the whole point of the way our plan is drawn up without getting too far into it.
On the afternoon, Diane Proctor, on the afternoon of after the parade, there's going to be something called the 250 Block Party, and it's being organized. Xana, you want to stand up, by Xana Noe, who's going to help us coordinate all the various events. So there'll be a lot going on in town at various venues throughout the afternoon and early evening for folks to be engaged and be able to participate. So if you have a store or if you have a restaurant, you can get grab and go bags or situations like that so people can get food quickly and be out and about. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you. Please contact either myself at dpdproctor@gmail.com or contact Polly or Laurie over here, because we're the communications team and we'll help to support you. Thank you very much.
There has to be more questions.
Hello, I'm Mimi Graney. I'm the Economic Vitality Manager for the town. I want to make sure folks know about a program that we're running, especially for food service, assuming a lot of thousands of people are going to come in and might not be brown bagging it. So especially for social clubs and different associations, committees that might be doing events that are going to have food, we're going to provide free food safety training. That's normally a $300 course. That's a one-day training that's going to be at the library. There's some flyers over here. And then we're also providing a grant. So if you want to get Cambros for coffee, if you want to have heat tables, grills, we're providing grants for up to $1,500 to help defray those costs. So there's information on the table over here about that.
I didn't say my name before. I'm Melanie Deneen. I'm the Public Health Director. And if you're thinking about doing something food and you're not a normal, typical permitted food business, you do need to apply for a temporary food permit. So everybody around the Monument Square and anybody that has other ideas, we need you to apply. And I need you to apply by 2 months out. So that February 17th is what I'm shooting to know who's doing what where. Okay? And I know that's more advanced than we would like, but I need to be able to make sure I have resources to get all the inspections and everything vetted through the normal food safety process. Does anybody have questions about that? Yeah.
Does that include like sealed, prepackaged?
So temporary food permit is for anything that's what we call a TCS. Food needs to be refrigerated or it's open. If you're giving out granola bars, you don't need a food permit. A whole orange, you don't need a food permit. But as soon as you sell popcorn that's open, It's a food permit. If you have anything open, like I'm giving out ice cream, that is actually technically needs to be frozen, right? So that's a food permit. We have this food safety class that Mimi's coordinating that really will be helpful. And if you take that class, you will have the credentials that I have to vet. We're trying to make this as painless as possible. But my role is to make sure you have the resources, the equipment to make sure you're doing what you want to do safely. Another question? Any other questions on that specific? Yeah. Yes.
In our town?
Yes.
How are we gonna handle that? Because I would imagine there'd be a lot of demand for just a bottle of water.
I know. The official answer is I'm communicating to all vendors, so in equity, that there's no bottled water sold in Concord, because that's the rule. On the day of, I'm not going to go around and give people tickets that are selling bottled water. I can't do that. We are going to have 2 water stations that we're contracted and having come in that are extra fillable water stations that we're still placing. There's a water filler at the visitor center, and there's one over at Emerson Field. So we're going to put at least one up by the park, and I'm still working on, we'll take feedback from the committee about where the other one wants to be. But we are going to have extra water filling stations with that consideration. Because I went last year and it was hot and everybody was drinking and looking for water, and I saw, well, we're eating sugar water and that's not really helpful. So yeah, that's the thought with that. Another question in the back.
Good morning. Excuse me. My name is Carol Whalen, and I'm the Executive Director at 51 Walden. There will be 2 events at 51 Walden in the afternoon between the parade and the drone show. And I just want to make sure I understand how and when the performers can get into the building.
How many performances are you talking about, roughly?
Do you know, for a couple dozen? For an event which would probably start at 2 o'clock.
Okay. Let me have you connect with my officers, and then we'll come up with a plan just in terms of where they're going to park and all that, and where we can get them in from.
Okay, thank you.
Do we know when the training is going to happen that Mimi just mentioned for food safety?
So they're day-long trainings. There's going to be one on Saturday, February 1st, another one on Tuesday, February 11th, and then a final one on Tuesday, March 4th. The one on February 1st maybe only has a couple spots left. So it's going to be at the library starting at 9 o'clock. And then it's a pretty intensive training. We'll provide you lunch. And then about 3 o'clock is the food safety serve safe exam. And then you'll get your certificate in by email. That's good for 5 years. And then you'll be able to separately sign up for an allergen awareness certificate, which is another certification for food safety that you can do online at your leisure. On the flyer, it's got a little QR code where you can log on. For businesses, we're allowing up to 4 spaces per business, and then additional people can be on the waiting list, and it's a space available. 2 weeks out, I'll take people off the waiting list and start filling up any extra spaces. But right now they're filling up quickly. So if you haven't already signed up and you want to, I recommend you do it soon.
Hi there, Jennifer Johnston, Three Stones Gallery. I may have missed this piece of information. I came in a little late. Have you said your estimated amount of people coming through the town during this period?
Define that. Are you talking just that we're going to let pass through? Or?
No. Well, in thinking of my shop and how many staff I'm going to need, the crowd size, how many people are going to be descending on the town?
In reality, we don't know. We could base it off what we saw in 1975, which was over 100,000.
Well, so this is where I'm just, could there be that? I mean, even 50,000 people? I mean, I'm so confused about this.
So if this helps a little bit, what we've seen is our Christmas parade over the last 15 years has grown exponentially.
Okay.
Last year, in 23, there were around maybe 4,000 to 5,000. This year it was 6 to 7,000. I think it's safe to say we're going to get quite a few people that'll come into town that day, barring bad weather.
Uh-huh.
So with that, I would expect that there will be a lot of volume coming through town. What that will look like, we honestly don't know. We know what happened in 75, and we've tried to learn from a little bit from that and plan accordingly. There's a lot of advertisement right now that's starting to ramp up too, and a lot of interest in this. So when you start talking to people outside the community, we're starting to hear more and more like, I think I'm going to go to Concord that day and see what's going on. So I would plan in the 100,000 range. And then
Yeah.
there's going to be smaller groups that are going to be coming in throughout the day and people coming in and out.
All right, and then we have one restroom facility, the visitor center, to send people if they need to use a, is that?
We are going to have portable
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
toilets that will be set up all throughout town.
Oh, there will be?
Yes.
Okay, porta potties.
Especially
great.
at what we're considering to be the high dense areas for people to gather and people to be moving through.
Okay, so lastly, my understanding is we could have 10,000, we could have 20,000, we could have 50,000. And we're really not going to know till the day.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to, I had a question, somebody had asked me to speak. So the question is about alcohol, and there's no alcohol to be sold on town property. So the food trucks that come in that are be placed on Walden Street or anything that's on town property, there cannot be any alcohol for our town insurance. If you have private property, and you want to serve alcohol, you need to get the one-day liquor license through the normal process, through the town manager's office, through our event process. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, and we will have 150 portable toilets placed around town. I don't know if that's going to be enough if there's 150,000 people, but that's what we're going to have.
Just a quick thing I read in the New York Times, I don't know if anybody saw it, there's a big article on 52 things to do in this year of 2025, all over the world, everywhere, and then there was Concord, Lexington. So, I don't know, we'll see.
You're welcome.
Xana Noe. I'm just been tapped to be the event coordinator for the 250th block party. That's that time between 2 and 6 o'clock, the drone show. And like Diane Proctor said, I'm going to be the coordinator. The point is to get a map put together of all the events with the performances and a timeline and a map. And on that map will be the bathrooms and hopefully parking. And we'll have that out as soon as we can. The deadline for getting the venues listed and the performances will be February 12th to be in the map. And so I'll be working with hopefully everybody to get this organized. Also, that is a great point about the performers and having them to find their way in. We'll work with that as well. My email is Zanah, ZANNAH, last name Noe, NOE, @gmail. And we'll be putting an email blast out on that, I'm sure. Thanks.
I'm surprised nobody's brought this up because it comes up at every meeting, cell service.
Oh, yeah, cell service.
You're gonna drop it there?
Why would that be important? All right, I have a little bit of news on that, but I want to make this point clear and hopefully everyone understands. We are told from the cell carriers that we are working with to increase cell service in town. Calls, 911 calls, will go through. It's the cellular data, so if people want to play on Facebook and Instagram, that might be a little more tricky. We have had Verizon and AT&T have been out about a week and a half ago. They are going to place what they call cellular cells on wheels. They call them cows. At the moment, we are looking at having 2 from Verizon placed out here and 1 from AT&T. And then there is T-Mobile, which is doing some infrastructure upgrades in the area. that will hopefully take care of any issues with T-Mobile. We expect it will greatly enhance what we don't already have, which is cell coverage downtown, and it will allow for people to use their phones a little bit more freely. A little more to follow on that. We're still trying to nail down exactly where the cows are going to go. I will tell you they will more than likely, at least 2 of them will be somewhere on Kaiser Road. The third one, we're still trying to figure out the final location, resting place.
Thanks, Brian.
Hi, I'm Lisa Krasner, Executive Director of the Concord Museum. Thank you for all your amazing work on planning for this, everybody. So I have a question, but I also have a request of everybody as well. So my question is pertaining to the museum will be open all day. It's a free community day. We'll have reenactors and encampment, as well as all the galleries open. We're expecting a huge crowd. Normally on a normal Patriots Day, we get about 1,000 people for the day. So I know it'll be exponential, and we'll do our best to accommodate everyone. Well, we are limited on our restrooms, and we have one tiny little bike rack. And I was wondering who we could speak to about maybe getting some porta potties, some bike racks at in our parking lot. We'll have food trucks that day, but if we're not allowed to park, we still have a pretty generous sized parking lot. So I was wondering about who to speak to coordinate that. But the other thing I also want to say, maybe many of you have seen, the Concord Museum has been nominated as one of USA Today 10 best small town museums in the country. Everybody needs to vote. It's a voting situation. And we have till February 10th. You can cast 1 vote a day on USA Today. And we're currently #1 on the leaderboard. And I really, really think Concord deserves to win this. So please vote and spread the word. Thanks.
Hi, sorry. Quick point from Discover Concord magazine. Our schedule this year is a little bit different than normal. We're about to come out with a winter edition. It'll come out the first week of February. That is the last normal issue of Discover Concord until after April 19th. So any news points about what you're doing during the April festivities, it'd be great to let me know that like now. We are doing a commemorative issue called Discover the Battle Road, and we're actually working with Freedom's Way and with the National Park Service. It's going to be a 200-page commemorative book. It is an official Concord250 publication. If you want to be a part of that, please let me know. We have more time on that. It will be available by mid-March. So just want to let people know our schedule is a tiny bit different. Our spring issue will come out at the end of April. So anything that you would like our audience to know about what you're doing, please come and find me. Thanks.
My name's Hannah. I'm from Priscilla
Give me
Candy.
1 second. I just want to get back to 2 things Lisa asked about. There are going to be portable toilets by you, but maybe we will rethink where exactly we're putting them. Melanie and I will work on that, but we had already planned for that because that's actually your location. That area is one of the drop-off spots for the intra-community bus route. And then as far as bike racks, I know you and I have a meeting coming up. When we do that, we'll talk a little bit more about that, and we can make that happen. All right. Sorry. Yes.
It's okay. We're from Priscilla Candy. I was wondering if, so roads close 6 p.m. on that Friday. Does that mean it's the same for all parking lots, or that will that affect business hours on Friday?
So what it essentially will mean is that we're not going to let traffic in. If people are already there, employees are already there, they will be able to get. We might need to adjust that a little bit based on some of the things I'm hearing. So this is something we've got to go back to the drawing board, if you will, and look at and maybe come up with a better plan. What I'm thinking just off the top of my head is we might keep one segment of the road open, the easiest way to get down there. And just so say it's Walden Street, right? Everybody comes in Walden Street, everybody goes out Walden Street. So we can control it. We just have to be careful, but we don't, like I said, we don't want people staking their claim for the night and then we can't get them out.
Sure. So when do parking lots close?
It's part of the road closures.
Okay.
Part of the road closures.
So
6 o'clock, yes.
I wanted to add a little bit about the portable toilets. We are working with public safety and GIS to place the best we can, 150 toilets at places where we think people would need them. We will present that to the 250th committee for feedback, but at some point we have to stop, and this is where it's going to happen, okay? There's 20 handicaps accessible. They have to be off a hardscape surface. There's 18 portable hand sinks, and 130 other regular portable toilets. And we are looking at where we think people will be, where we think there's going to be around Monument Square a need for bathrooms. We don't have a magic lens, but we're doing our best to place that, and we will get feedback from people, and then they will come in on the Thursday before. So the 17th, they're due to be dropped off. They will be in the way of a few things, I'm sure, and they're hopefully going to be picked up on Monday at the latest on Tuesday.
And just to back that up a little bit further, we're working with GIS, we're working with the communications staff, QR codes. We want to get the maps out where where everything is going to be, so people can find stuff. They can find their way around town with a little bit more ease than just kind of having to guess.
Hi, I'm Helen Haller, and I have a Concord Flower Shop. We're over in West Concord. I'm happy to see the roads aren't closing till Friday night, and we'll make every effort to get our Easter deliveries done before that. But being that it's Easter weekend, we're apt to have quite a few deliveries on that Saturday. Is there anything I need to do to let you know who my delivery people are in order to let them through road closures?
What I would love to do is to be able to maybe credential your delivery people and then maybe have a list of who the drivers are going to be. And I'm just going to ask maybe get together with Officer Hawkins on that so we can put that into the what we call our operational plan, and we'll feed it to our communication folks. So if there's any questions and they get stopped, we'll know to let them through. And with a little luck, they'll have a credential which they'll be able to pass through. Keep in mind, between 8:30 and say 2 o'clock, the parade will be going on.
Right.
So there will be locations that you want to account for that you won't be able to get to during that time. If it's in the middle of Monument Street and the parade's right there, I can't get a delivery driver down there. It just won't work.
Okay, great, thanks.
Hi, David Owen again from Concord Scout House. So just want to let you know, we might be able to provide space for porta potties and water for a station and all. And since it sounds like folks are also doing announcements, I want to say we're looking for sponsors to put on programming at Concord Scout House that afternoon, and I have flyers here. And anybody's interested, seek me out.
Good morning, Jennifer representing the Grasshopper Shop. I just want to check in from your point of view. Is it up to us the hours that we are open business as usual? Are there times that you would prefer that would be closed doors? And then we often have a number of items out on the sidewalk other than our own concerns about, shoplifting and so forth. Would you prefer that the sidewalks are clear?
I would prefer the sidewalks are clear for the main reason we don't know how many people we're going to get. And if it gets densely packed in the downtown area, that's going to present a problem, and it's going to present an obstacle for people to get by. I think it's just easier if we can keep the free space open as much as we can. As far as business hours go, that's up to you. We want the businesses to open. We want people to succeed on this day and have a good time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julie Manugian. I'm the manager of Minuteman Media Network, and we are the TV station for the town of Concord, and that's Arcady over there filming everything today. Wanted to let you know that today's meeting will be on our YouTube channel. We'll put it up right away for anybody who missed it. And also wanted to say we're going to be filming the parade and the ceremony at the bridge. And I know CNN might be here and CBS and everybody, but your local TV station, your local public TV station is going to be here. Thank you. Thank you. So if you see a CNN cameraman and then Julie's behind them trying to get away, just go like that. But our hope also is that we're going to be live streaming that day. We're working with IT to the cows and everything. So our goal is to live stream everything on YouTube at our channel, Minuteman Media Network YouTube channel. Just spread the word if anybody you know can't be there that day. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrea Rossler from the Concord Players and a chamber member. I'm curious, are there any dignitaries or really big famous people planning on attending that we know of?
We'd like to think that, but we really don't know yet. That's still being planned out. From the parade perspective, I know John Arena is still waiting on the dignitaries to reserve their space in the parade. The rest of it at this point, I think, maybe Beth knows when's the drop dead date.
That morning.
Okay.
Sorry,
So,
not to be coy. The
it's
reality with a very high official, a representative of state government, federal government, country government, they don't have to abide by our timelines. So we may know very last minute.
Invitations have gone out from the president of the government.
Cara Florio, I live in West Concord. 2 questions. The post office on Walton Street, is that going to be normal hours and delivery service on Saturday, or have you worked with them as a?
We haven't yet. That is on the I'll call it my punch list to have a conversation with them, but we're not going to impede with the post office. That's not our plan. The only thing I will say is we're going to utilize the commuter lot out behind on Walden Street. That's going to be where food services are going to be.
And then commuting in from West Concord, I did see that you are working with additional train services. So is that sort of, I'm planning on hopping the train from West Concord into Concord Center. Is it sort of back and forth?
Yep.
That line is going to have more frequency?
Yes, starting at 4 a.m. on Saturday, that special event scheduled train is going to run from North Station out to South Acton and back. So you will be able to pick it up on the way back. It's going to be much more frequent is the plan.
And I will tell you that the MBTA has been a phenomenal partner for us. And MBTA.com has a page layout that we just looked at yesterday that will have all of the how to get here from wherever on it with a custom page for the 250. We're hoping to have that press release by mid-February, so it'll have the full schedule. The train will be wrapped. It looks really cool. There's some really good stuff, but we do want to make sure that everybody that can take the train takes the train.
How early can you get into the parking lot? So if I'm hosting quite a few people to come in for that weekend, and you said that there would be a parking lot, I believe on Baker Ave, I'm assuming it's at the old Welch's facility, that we could go in and start to reserve some, parking there. Is that, you're not locking any of those parking spots?
We're not locking those down. They'll be staffed around 4 a.m. for traffic control, but that's about it. We're not actually physically parking cars. We've just secured the lots for people to park in, so it's first come, first serve. Once it's full, we'll probably put up barricades and keep pushing people along, but that's as far as it goes.
The MTA is doing something really, really terrific. They're giving you a $10 weekend pass. So you buy that one pass, hop off and on the train as much and as often as you wish. So that will be available on their website.
Good morning, I'm Mark Cohn, General Manager at the Residence Inn over in Concord. We were talking just a moment ago about possibly parking over there at Baker Avenue. Will there be state police detail? Because going in and out of that Baker Avenue extension there's 2 ways in, 2 ways out. It's backed up during the week at 4 or 5 o'clock. What's the plan on that?
So the plan for the west side of town, that entrance exit will be kept open, but they're not going to be able to cross over Route 2. All the left turn lanes on Route 2 are going to be shut off for the day of the event, starting around 4 a.m. And we'll run that straight through. And that's just like what they do out at Gillette for the football games, for the concerts and everything else. We took a similar approach, seemed to make the most sense. There will be troopers out there assigned to handle those locations and move things along, and hopefully nothing will back up like we normally speak, but we honestly don't know.
I have a question. Hi, I'm Margot from Art for All in West Concord. And I'm wondering if West Concord's on the map at all in terms of security or in terms of special ways of getting people over to West Concord to,
So there will be added security for the day. We've increased patrols. We're relying on our partners, local partners, and our state partners to help out with us on that. The focus really is going to be the people assigned to the parade, and on the north side of town, we'll deal with the parade and deal with all that. And then our normal day operations will deal with West Concord, as well as being beefed up by additional services out that way. As far as getting people over from West Concord, we are having some other talks. I'm not going to speak to them at this time because there may be some more shuttle services that are available, but I need to just shore that up first. And we have a meeting coming up, I think the first week in February is what we were looking at. So we are trying to plan to make it a little more user-friendly for the people in West Concord, but there will be the Baker Ave parking lots, hopefully Verrills, MCI Concord. If we can acquire anything else that's within a short distance, because we don't want to have people on buses too long, we'll do that too.
Hi.
I'm following up, Jan Turnquist, Executive Director, Orchard House. I'm following up on the question about Baker Ave parking, wanting to make sure I understand. It sounds like you can come into that parking lot, Baker Ave, possibly MCI whatever other parking lots you have like that morning early. Is that correct? Am I understanding?
Correct.
So if you were coming from Waltham, for example, this people I was talking about, they could make a right turn. They can't come in from the west and make a left turn, but they could make a right turn to get,
If you're coming in from the east, you're westbound, you're not going to be, well, you can't take a left turn there anyhow.
No, I'm
Baker
talking
Ave.
about a right turn.
But if they're going eastbound on there, they can take a right turn into Baker Ave over by the residence inn.
That's what I wondered. And that could be that morning. They just want to do it very early so they can get in there.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
great, thanks.
Hi, Leslie again. Sort of on the same lines as my question before with getting our employees, which is about 30 on Friday and Saturday. Customers, also third-party deliveries on Friday night and Saturday. Just put it on your radar.
Yep.
It's one of those
That's
questions.
exactly what I need. If you can get us a list of that would be extremely helpful. I don't expect to give them credentials to get in, but if we know Amazon is coming in, right, and we know to let them through and we know where they're going. That's all. It just makes it a little easier for the folks on post to be able to deal with it, so we don't start queuing up like 24 vehicles.
Hi, Sandra Petty from Neshotah Country Club. Can you confirm that all the roads will be open on Sunday? We do a Easter brunch for over 600 people. I need to make sure our residents here are able to attend.
I think I can confirm that, yes.
Okay. Also, will there be a microsite that sits on the Concord town website that lists all of the road closures and parking areas so we can share that out with our members and community?
Yes.
Yes.
We are already in talks with getting the maps out there as well as some of this other information. The goal was to get that information out in January, and if it hasn't started to filter out, it's going to be filtering out very shortly. Please.
So this is Donna McIntosh, our Public Information Officer. She'll update you.
Hi, yes, there will be a microsite on our site linked off from the front page. It's not completely launched yet, but it will be shortly. And if you go on the town's website and sign up for news and notices under the Notify Me block, information will also be going out there for those who subscribe. Okay, thank you.
So just overall on communication, just so everybody's clear, this presentation will be available, the slides will be available, the microsite will be stood up. The best way to stay informed is sign up for news and notices, especially if you're local. Follow the Concord250 on social. There are emails that are going out. If you're not signed up to get the notices that you got, like today, if you didn't get a reminder for today, let's put it that way, make sure you're on Pam's list. Polly Meyer is handling our social media with Lori Stefanov. So follow us, like, copy, post, comment. The more you're engaged, the more you're going to stay informed. We're going to do our very best to get information out in a timely manner, but the more you can subscribe so the message comes to you, the easier it's going to be for all of us to stay informed.
And just to back that up with what Beth said, there tends to be a lot of rumors and speculation out there. If you hear something and you're unclear and you want an answer, ask one of us. I'm more than happy to entertain phone calls, emails, whatever it takes. I'd rather clear it up and avoid people having stressing over it versus getting the right information out there.
One last question.
Jen, Jen Shinneman, Discover Concord Magazine. This has been so, so helpful. And I imagine you're going to have more detailed information as we get closer. Will you do another event like this a few weeks out from April 19th so that we have sort of the final, or is that going to be?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
If you all like having me here, I'm more than happy to come back.
Next time Fred's gonna do the whole thing. Anybody else have questions for Captain Coleman? It is 8:45. There is a lot of food left.
There are other speakers.
So if you want to take 10 seconds, come and grab something, and then we'll move on to the next.
This has been a good free-flow discussion, but we've run over a couple of people that were on the earlier portion of the docket. Fred, do you have anything to add?
No, good morning. Fred Ryan, Concord250, Public Safety. I work for Captain Goldman. Wonderful job. Thank you.
I wasn't going to let him go. Melanie, you were the next one up that was run over time-wise. Do you have anything more from a health department standpoint?
I don't think so. I think we need to get the people that want to do food to apply or let us know on we have a Concord250th request event that we need people to fill out by the end of this month, and we need the food permits in for any other location besides Walden Street by the middle of February. Yep.
Can you tell us how many food trucks are coming and where the food trucks will be located?
So the food trucks right now are going to be in the Walden Street parking lot. Right now, as of yesterday at noon, I had 11 trucks that had requested to come. We'll close it on the 31st of January, and I'm really going to stop taking food trucks after that point. All right? I need everybody in town who wants to do a temp food event on their property, like the Scouts, like other folks, to get in their temporary food permits by the middle of February. So I don't know, then I will have the answer to that. Then I'll be able to say, we have this many food trucks, this is where they are going to be. If we get more than we can handle, we have alternative ideas to locate them, but right now we're focusing on, we can hold up to 30 in that lot. Okay, so I don't have, and so the reason why we have these deadlines is then I can then communicate out, this is where they are, this is how many, and we can tell the map in the communications team. So it's kind of like all kind of dominoes in place. Does it make sense? Okay.
Beth Williams, you are the next one that was on the script, and you've interceded occasionally, but can you wrap up anything you had to say?
I know the one thing that people had questions about was the intertown transportation. So we do have a current bid out for shuttles that will run between, Captain Goldman showed on the map, between Lexington and Concord on a continual basis from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those bids are due the end of this month. So we should have a vendor in place by early February. So sort of all of this timing-wise is going to mean mid-February there will be a lot more maps, information, concrete information. So as soon as we have a bid accepted, hopefully approved, to run that shuttle, that information will be spread to the 4 towns. So the 4 towns that are working together are Concord, Lexington, Arlington, and Lincoln. So for those of us that are working on that agreement, it's really important for us to make sure that the 4 towns all benefit economically as well as the greater region, which is why we're working so hard to get the transportation moving and get people moving between the communities.
Polly Meyer.
Hi. So along with Diane, Lori, and the communications team, our big thing is let's get this information out early and broadly. That's really key. We want to make sure that this is, we put it out on various channels, platforms. That's where you can help. Some of you have social media, you might have a website, you might have a regular email. We have drafted up some different captions that you can use, long, short. That if you can include that anywhere, it can have a QR code that links to Concord250. And it will give you a list not only of events, but I'm going to link to all of the information that Donna has on the town. There's going to be one place where that's all going to live, and we really want people to plan, be able to plan ahead of time. Have a plan with your family, have a plan with your friends. So that's one thing. Also want to thank Minuteman Media. They have helped us tremendously. We did a podcast with Fred, and there's a great podcast on public safety that you can listen to. We're going to have more podcasts coming up. And news and notices, like Donna said, that is so important. Please sign up for news and notices. You can also, obviously follow us on social media. We will get information out. And there are a couple other things. Let's see. If you have an event, if you will have a Concord 250 event, send it to me. It's Polly, just like Molly, but with a P, pollyconcord250@gmail.com. Most of you know how to reach me. You can send me notes through social media. I'll check for you there. I want to thank the Chamber for organizing this, Right Tavern, First Parish, Minuteman Media. There are a lot of people, and the Concord 250 Community Participation Committee for making this all happen. There's a woman, Faye. Do you want to raise your hand? So if you have a minute, look at the table behind Faye. It's beautiful. Faye is working on the Community Participation Committee, and what she's doing is just going to beautify the town. So if you see the flower baskets right there, those are going to be placed on every single doorway in Monument Square. They're just gorgeous. And something that we're really excited about are the decorations. So pansies right now are being grown. Red, white, and blue pansies are being grown by a local farm, Colonial Gardens, that will be placed around Concord, and then there'll be geraniums for inside windows. Okay, so that's exciting. And then we're encouraging anybody that has a storefront to think about decorations. And if you look back there, there are some examples of what was done in the past and some ideas, but you can really have fun with it. And imagine if we have tens of thousands of visitors, how wonderful it will be for people to browse the windows as they go through Concord. And I think that's it. I've been told to tell you to eat. There's a lot of food. Thank you, Verrill Farm, Main Street Market, and Duncan for all of these refreshments.
I'll just give you a quick reminder when you do submit an event, and I think this is where people struggle. When we get an event that you want us to post publicly, it needs to have an image, a URL, a how to buy tickets. We need to have it complete when you send it to Polly, because we are then pushing that up to the state level. So the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism has been an amazing partner. They have MA250, which gets a zillion times more hits than our local municipalities do for visibility. So if you have an event that's open to the public, not restricted to private access, as long as you have a description, a URL, how to buy tickets, an image, send it to Polly, and she is pushing those all up to the state level. And that is why we're starting to see some of that incredible press. I know Jennifer mentioned the New York Times. We are number 23 out of the top 25 places to be in 2025. And that is because of our partnership with the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism. All the information that Polly and I are pushing to them constantly is getting us on that national stage.
One of the things too is revolutionary weekends. They're pushing out revolutionary weekends from Mass 250, and it's like, do you have something going on? So that's if you can tag something like this, would be a great revolutionary weekend event, like Concord Players or anything like that.
And to one of our co-chairs, Gary Clayton, has a word or two.
Great. Thank you, Maynard. First, again, my name is Gary Clayton, co-chair of the Concord 250 Executive Committee. And first of all, thank you all for attending this morning. This has been a wonderful turnout. And yes, we look forward to another session a little bit later this winter, early spring, just before April 19th, so we can provide you with as much up-to-date current information as we possibly can. I want to thank also the town staff who we have been working with. They've been wonderful. You've heard a number of them speaking here this morning. I also want to thank the many volunteers, and particularly those of the executive committee and our numerous subcommittees that we've established. Holly Crassley is the chair of our community participation subcommittee, and working with the Chamber of Commerce, helped arrange this gathering this morning. But we have an amazing group of volunteers who are taking on this job. And I think it's fair to describe it as a job. We've been at this for, at least I have, for 2+ years at this point. So it's all coming together. There's a lot more attention to detail and finalization of points of action that we'll be working on, and you've heard this morning, we'll be following up on. So keep in mind how important it is regarding communication. The captain has spoken to it. Beth has just mentioned that please make the effort to stay in touch, to share with us what your needs and concerns are. There will be a lot of information flowing about. Some of it will not always be accurate. Some will be rumors. Just within the past week, I've had at least 3 inquiries about which former or current president of the United States is coming to Concord. We've not heard that, and who knows? But we do know over the past century, 2 centuries or more in Concord, we've had presidents come to these celebrations. So it's all possible. But the important point is, share with us your questions, concerns, keep the lines of communication open, and we will work with you to provide the support as best we can. And again, thank you all for being here this morning. It's been an impressive turnout, and we look forward to continuing to work with you. What will be an engaging, exciting set of programs, events, and culminating with the parade on April 19th.
Thanks, Gary. Maynard, we have one more. We have a super fun project to tell you about.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Migdal from Thoreau Farm, the birthplace of Henry David Thoreau, and we're spearheading a promotional trading card game for the town. It is not just for April 19th, it's ongoing. And if you want to know 3 top things you need to know, it's free, it's fun, and it's free. We're going to have baseball-style collectible cards featuring 20 figures from throughout Concord's history that can be collected at different participating locations throughout town, both cultural organizations and retailers and wherever else we want to put them. So please come. I have information sheets here and my card. You can learn more about what we're doing and how you can participate. It should be super easy for everyone to play along. And again, it's going to be totally free. So please reach out if you're interested.
Okay.
Last thing, check the table over here on my right. There's a lot of the bling from the 250th. Polly will be happy to show it to you all. There's a lot of food back there on the table. We thank Vero Farm and Duncan and whoever else was involved. For that, we thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.